What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks in the NBA playoff streets. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Friends, I've been in the baseball streets all the live long morning, all the live long day. We do have Philly up 3-1 top of the second. That's a good feeling for the MLB people who got that lock. Obviously, the NBA streets haven't had as many locks, but I've had a play from every single game, which is not always like me. Sometimes I'll lean towards something, or it's just harder to find value this time of season unless you're making some very educated decisions. I think we got one of those here where I'm going to be parlaying the same dude with two different metrics. We'll talk through what I think about that spot specifically on today's card, but just to take a look at it, looks as though Boston just handles business every single time. 102.88, covered the 10.5 for everybody in that regard. And now the sweat really becomes, can I get Trey Murphy to make a shot? He's got 7 points, 3 for 9 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3. We're at the 8-minute mark of the third quarter there, so still lots of time for him to salvage. He's halfway there. We need, well, a little less than halfway. We need 14.5. That's the way this works. But anyway, BetMGM friends, check them out. Odd Chopper, check them out. We got 3 games that we are guaranteed on Tuesday. Not always guaranteed 3 games the rest of the way. We got to see how things play out on Monday. And then here on Tuesday, where we got some elimination spots. We got some competitive spots. I'm very excited. Are you excited? I'm excited. Also, the Timberwolves. It's my team. That's my team. I might have to go to Denver. If they're playing Denver, I'm assuming that Denver wins against LA tonight. We'll find out. Anyway, producer Jacob, let's get to the picks. If this series had a name, it would be Jalen Brunson. I mean, just holy mother of God, dude. 47 ball for Jalen Brunson on 34 shot attempts, but efficient. 18 for 34, 9 for 11 from the line. Didn't make all his threes, but plus 10 in the plus minus. Phenomenal stuff. As for Joel Embiid, he was awesome yet again. He's had a massive plus minus. Every single minute he's not on the floor, Philly is getting murdered. But 44 minutes for them in a home spot. Everybody saw the videos. Let's be serious. The New York Knicks brought the fan base into Philly. That was beautiful stuff to be seeing there. And now the Knicks, up 3-1, can close it out here for a game 5. Didn't see this one coming. Thought that this one would be 2-2, gridlocked for sure. But again, I didn't get the Philly side of that, at least on Sunday. So that worked out for me. Anyway, we're going to be on short rest. And I think that that is something that really matters to me when you're paying attention to some of these spots. Again, you had like Anthony Davis, LeBron, talked about that a little bit where, you know, Jokic, feeling a little bit spry about him, even though he's not like the most in shape guy on planet Earth. He's one of the best athletes on planet Earth because what he does is play basketball better than everybody else. But what I'm getting at is that Joel Embiid, 44 minutes for him, and now turning around a day of rest and now playing 40 plus minutes, or your team is just absolutely toast. It's going to be a tough ask here in this spot. But I'm actually looking at some of these Sixers ancillary pieces. Now, we saw that ridiculous box score from Jalen Brunson. I don't really find a ton of value. OG Anunoby played 47 of 48 minutes in that spot. Actually played more than Brunson, who got dinged up for a quick second, then came back. Played a minute more than Josh Hart, which is like seems impossible at this point. And Miles McBride, 27 minutes off the bench. I don't think Bogdanović ends up playing. He got dinged up 1 minute into that game. Lord Bojan, rip. He's made us money, so we always appreciate that guy. Haven't bet him like at all this year, but you know, or at least with New York. I've not bet him a single time, which is kind of sad to think about. But I think we're going to be looking at these ancillary pieces for the Philadelphia 76ers. One of my most profitable things early on here, the reason that we went 6-2 so far on locks. And again, haven't had locks on the last 3 NBA cards purely because it's a little bit more reactionary. It's a little bit more fluid. Lines are very easy to project for books as things go along to a certain extent. And by that, I mean, we can kind of look at this and know that Embiid around 40-ish minutes. And, you know, the outlier Josh Hart 48-minute spots, they're not really outliers when that's close to what his lines are being projected at. Can be an injury that goes away from you. It can be poor shooting like we saw last time. But that's where I'm looking at Tobias Harris as the lean here. I can't believe that Tobias Harris making as much money as he is, the second highest paid player here on the 76ers. Only 34 minutes. They ended up going to a lot of Batum lineups in some spots. He did not play over 40 minutes like Embiid, Maxey, and Kelly Oubre played. And D'Anthony Melton starts to get acclimated. He only played 7 minutes there, but 3-1. We know that D'Anthony Melton was a key part of this rotation earlier in the season. Do I think that necessitates bringing Tobias Harris off the floor for him? No, I do not. But what I'm saying is that Cameron Payne played 14 minutes. I didn't see that coming. Kyle Lowry played 33, which, I think makes more sense now than what it did at the game one of this series. He's been playing very, very well for them. But I think Tobias Harris sitting here at 10.5 points, that's a low number. And yet I'm just going to be leaning towards the over of him. And I'm going to be paying attention more to the guy who ended up playing 40 minutes last time out. That is Kelly Oubre, who they need his shooting and size on the floor to deal, well, at least on the defensive end for like an OG Anunoby, even though OG's not going to guard him on the other side. In fact, OG shadowed Joel Embiid once Isaiah Hartenstein got in some of that foul trouble. I think that might, take a little bit of that pressure off of Kelly Oubre. Going to be sitting in the corner. Spot up 3 should be available with Maxey and Embiid out creating. So Kelly Oubre over 11.5 points is the only play that I have on this game so far. Super quick, friends, $14.95 weekly, $49.95 monthly for the OS Premium Tools and Discord Insider Access. What is that? Well, the Positive EV tool, the Fantasy Optimizer, everything you know and love at any site, whether it be in a legal state, non-legal state, whether it's Pick'em, whether it's the sports books. Again, OS Premium Tools have you covered, friends. And then the Discord Insider Access, my premium betting card, everybody's premium betting card here at OddsShopper that you know and love. And if you use promo code Lindy, Lindy, bang, 20% off of that. So it's less than $2 a day to try out for a week. That would be $12 for your first week, $42 for your first month. Come check it out. You don't enjoy it, cancel. No harm, no foul, friends. But bet you'll you'll enjoy some money. I can make you money. That seems fun. Anywho, back to the picks we go. I think this is weirdly the game that I'm looking forward to the most. It's 2-2. It's gridlock now. We got ourselves a series, and, as opposed to OKC New Orleans, which was 3-0, LA and Denver, which was 3-1, going back to Denver here, and Boston now up 3-1. We've had a lot of lopsided series. Indy, Milwaukee coming up next year, 3-1. Orlando, Cleveland, getting to the 2-2 mark. This is going to be a very, very enjoyable watch for me. Now, it's a disgusting total, 200.5, and that's not what we're looking for. It's not what we're looking for at all. This is like going back to 1993. It's like would that be Penny Hardaway, 1993? No, it's like 95, wasn't it? Gotta be 95. Shaq came around like 94, 95. And those were some fun teams. He had like Horace Grant on the tail end of his career too. Oh, some wild Orlando uniforms too. I loved it. Anywho, we're going to be taking on Cleveland here in this spot and working through the box scores. Let me just tell you, not pretty if you're a Cleveland fan. The little sphincter is a little tighter than what it was before, if you know what I mean. Not an ideal situation to just have no offense at any point in time. 89 points you put up there in game 4. Absolute abysmal showing on the offensive end. And game previous to that, 89 and 83. Now, the same could be said about the Magic going on the road, where they only put up 83 and 86 points in game 1 and 2, respectively. But this is just one of those things where you got to hold serve here at home if you are Cleveland, because you do not want to go back to Orlando, where they have been very good at home. I think that's just kind of what you're learning here. 29 and 12 now on the season are the Orlando Magic in their own building. So game 5, very pivotal, and coming off of that collapse that I would call it from last season, not getting out of the first round. Definitely a spot where Cleveland has everything to play for if they want to keep this team under the same construction. I think Donovan Mitchell kind of has one foot out the door, but I know he's got a year under contract, but could see himself working himself out of that pretty quickly. But I actually want to point at one player. I said this at the top of the show. I think this is kind of like the Eric Lindquist. I'm not going to call myself like the sharpest player of the day or the sharpest play of the day, but I think Wendell Carter's played sneaky well in some of these spots. Now, 112.89 there, only 24 minutes, because they've gone to Mo Wagner. He was a plus 20 in 15 minutes. Markelle Fultz was a plus 23 in 19 minutes. But Wendell Carter being out there, just keeping this same rotation together, kind of letting Jonathan Isaac do his thing, who was a plus 25 in those minutes too, backup 5 duty. I think Wendell Carter still locked into 24, 26 minutes just about every single time out. It got a little bit wonky towards the end of that game. They scored 37 in the third quarter, 37-10 they won that quarter by. So it ended up being a little bit of a smash down. But we saw Wendell Carter inserted into that starting lineup over Jonathan Isaac for game 3. And now everything is flowing. Isaac's coming off the bench where he's been more comfortable all season long, even though you want a guy like Isaac playing as many minutes as possible because he's just so good at impacting the game on both sides. Specifically defensively, though. But Wendell Carter, friends, I think this is a great opportunity to buy low on some of this rebound production. He's going up against Jared Allen and Evan Mobley there in that first unit because, again, he's now playing the beginning of that first quarter and third quarter, 6-minute stints there. And he has to deal with some pretty ridiculous rebound rates there on the Cleveland side of things. Jared Allen on the season, a 25.9% defensive rebound rate, 11.4% offensive rebound rate. As for Mobley, 24.8% defensive rebound rate, which is above 90th percentile in basketball, and an 8.2% offensive rebound rate, which is right around 80th percentile. So those are two big 7-footers on the floor sharing space, and Wendell Carter Jr. has a tough assignment, but I think you might as well just bet on the minutes. 24, 26 minutes. I think combining the 7.5 points and the 5.5 rebounds together in a single game parlay makes some sense here. Again, if they rip him off the floor, you're probably losing both bets anyway. And so there's just a little bit more upside baked in where it's like, hey, he performed well up against these two Twin Towers. They needed his minutes. They needed his size. And they've obviously enjoyed having him in the starting rotation as Orlando's kind of found their footing. So overall, I feel pretty confident. Wendell Carter, over 7.5 points and 5.5 rebounds. A nice little combo piece for you on Tuesday. This is a pretty great combo. OddsShopper and BetMGM, friends, obviously. Love OddsShopper, talked about them earlier, but BetMGM has this great offer going just for you, friends. First bet safety net up to $1,500 if you sign up at the link below. Whether it's $50, $100, when you sign up at BetMGM, that first bet that you make, when you deposit and play over there, that first bet will be refunded to you in bonus bets up to $1,500. That is a great opportunity to get $1,500 in bonus bets back into your account if your bet doesn't hit. It's really as simple as that. That's a huge offer and a huge swing that you can make depending on what your bankroll is. Obviously, play responsibly, but take a swing. Go over to BetMGM, check them out. $1,500 in bonus bets back to you if your first bet loses. Great opportunity to take a big plus money swing, friends. Only if you're 21 and over. Please play responsibly. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Back to the picks we go. One more game. And probably the quickest analysis that I will give you here, mainly because, well, we have no Q tag of substance here, whereas we have Mitchell Robinson. Joel Embiid technically is questionable, but I don't think anything is really on the fritz. We had a really weird Q tag pop up on Sunday, and he looked just fine, but Tyrese Halliburton was questionable on the Indy side. He's now questionable entering this one, which low back spasms up 3-1. I'm not sure what to make of it, but obviously, he hasn't looked 100% at times over the course of the last month and a half. Looked pretty damn good to me on Sunday, though. So continuing to be effective, impacting the game on the offensive end. Defensively, Indy isn't really bringing a lot to it, but probably won't have to worry about that until later. But obviously, I'm bearing the lead. The Milwaukee side, friends, no Damian Lillard. He'll be out. You get Bobby Portis back after the 7 minutes and then ejection that he had, which was a little bit soft. The Andrew Nemhard thing, obviously, don't swing and hit somebody in the head. That's a good lesson for life. But Giannis Antetokounmpo, Damian Lillard, both doubtful for this game. Unless something comes from the absolute southern hemisphere, which I do not expect, you are looking at Indy as massive favorites to close out this series. They get 3 cracks at it, but I think they're only going to need 1. This is a team in Milwaukee that has just been incompetent, incapable of playing without Damian Lillard or Giannis Antetokounmpo on the floor. Now, Chris Middleton, I do find him to be an above-average basketball player. There's no doubt that he has been the underrated piece. You know, the Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Damian, I almost said Dame because he was not there at the same time, and Giannis Antetokounmpo combination. I think Chris Middleton's always been a little bit underrated. 90th percentile offensive player, 80th percentile defender, estimated win share in the 90th percentile in his prime, 2020, 2021. Even this season, 5.7 estimated plus-minus win share. That is a gigantic number in estimated wins over on dunks and threes. So we're looking at him with a 27% assist rate that should go up. Usage should go up. True shooting sitting around 60%. I expect to come down ever so slightly. But as I'm building out the baselines here, all I see is an Indy team that has lots of options. lots of options to offensively tweak and mix and match. And I do think Tyrese Halliburton, based on the Q tag showing up an hour before that game on Sunday, he ends up playing through it, was just fine. Had his little heat pad over on the side, if anybody was paying attention to that. But I think you just lay the 3.5. I mean, this is as clear as it gets. This is 4 just about everywhere else. It is juiced a little bit more, -115 just about everywhere on these 3.5s. But give me the half point at a key number here, 3.5, 4. Big difference between the two. Feel a little bit more confident here in Indy, giving me the full 4 to be able to cover there. Should be close to a competitive game on the road. But here's the thing. Doc Rivers coaching here. Oh, this should be closer to 6, friends. This is definitely something we want to take advantage of. Indy gets it done on Tuesday for a half year. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks in the NBA streets. Head to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board for this lovely little Tuesday 3-gamer we have before us. Not many 3-gamers. Potentially no more 3-gamers, depending on how things pan out. We should have a weekend that it pops up Saturday or Sunday, but no promises, no promises. I will be here, though, the rest of the way for you for NBA. And obviously, MLB been going full swing there in the premium Discord and elsewhere. Check out all of the fixing over at X at Eric Lindquist. You can follow me there. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to hit me up. Thank you, producer Jacob. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Tuesday.